Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
When you told me about the book you were reading,
Yeah.
I read about it. So
Yeah.
I got it. It's very interesting.
Oh, but the German Jews?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't start it yet. I'm saving it for the weekend.
Well, I can only read it. Mine is a hard copy.
Yeah. It's a hardcover. Yeah.
Yeah, I can only read those sitting on a table. Not me.
See, really?
Not me, the book. Because if I'm in the bed, it will kill me.
Oh, it's too heavy. Right.
Or if I'm on a sofa, I'll fall asleep. But it sounds very, very interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah.
And the guy had misgivings for
The guy had
writing.
what?
Misgivings.
Yes. Yes.
Why? Because he says he would give it, because of what happened in January 6th and afterwards, and the whole
Really?
atmosphere of anti-Semitism.
With October 7th and yeah.
So he said, no, maybe they should know the lives they have.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important.
So I read one guy's life, Schiff.
Yeah, Schiff. Yeah.
Jacob Schiff. Not Adam.
Yeah.
Not Adam Schiff.
Ernie, we're talking about this book. It's about
Yeah.
the German banking Jews in the 1800s.
They were the richest.
The richest. Yeah.
Yeah. Smart people.
Yeah.
A lot of them came to South Africa, by the way, those Germans.
They did?
Yeah. They were the big guys in the diamond and gold business.
Uh-huh.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, Oppenheimer. Right, yeah.
No, there was quite a few of them.
Yeah, Feinblum I saw, and Bruckner.
Feinblum was, from the Pale there in Lithuania.
The Pale of settlement. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were even they came to San Francisco. Sutro.
Oh, they were Jewish, Sutro?
They were Jewish.
I didn't know that.
They were part of the founders of Wells Fargo Bank.
Yeah, I didn't know Sutro was Jewish.
And I also heard that the founder, I can't believe it, I heard it right, the founder of the Bank of America was an Italian.
Giannini.
Also Jewish family.
Giannini. Yeah.
Okay. So we're on Chaf Amud Beis on the bottom. Poretz Lasos Derech, that a melech can have eminent domain. He can take over any house and destroy it to make a road. Ton Rabbanon, when they would go to war, Otzros Malachim LaMelech, if he captured the treasure stores of a king, that would go all to the Jewish king, LaMelech. Ushar Bizer Shaboizuzin, any other loot, Mechzel LaMelech, Mechzel LaAm. The king would get 50%, the people would get 50%. Armele Abayl Rav Dimi. I understand when one king conquers another king, he gets the king's treasure house. Fine. Where do we get this concept that when they are looting the defeated nation, where do we see that 50% of the loot goes to the king? So in Divrei Yomim, we didn't learn this pasuk in Malachim. It says, "Vayamlichu shenis l'shamu ben David, vayamshechu l'Hashem l'nagid u'letzaddik hakohen." That they anointed Shlomo HaMelech and Tzaddik HaKohen. Mekish Nagid l'Tzaddik. The Nagid is the Melech. He's comparable to the Kohen Gadol. Ma Tzaddik mechzelo echam. When they divide the lechem upon him, the Kohen Gadol gets half, and the other Kohen get the other half. Af Nagid mechzelo echam. So to the Melech, when they take spoils of another nation, the Melech gets 50%. How do you know the Kohen Gadol gets half of the lechem upon him? The Tanya, Rabbi Yomer, v'haisa le'aharon ulvanav, mechzel Aaron, mechzel levan. It's a drasha that the lechem upon him is divided. 6 of the loaves go to Aaron, and 6 go to the other Kohanim. Then the Mishnah said, "Lo yarbe lo noshim." A king can have too many wives. What's the limit? Ela shmona esrei. 18 wives. Rav Yehuda Omer, marbehu lo, he can do even more. Ulevad shloyu mesiras eslibo, as long as they don't divert his heart to some kind of avodah zarah. Reb Shimon afilo achas mesiras eslibo reizol yisena. Even one wife who's gonna turn him to the avodah zarah, he can't marry her. Okay, lama nemer lo yarbe lo noshim dafilu kavigayil. That means even if the woman was a tzadekis like Abigail, the maximum number is 18.
Seems like 18 is a lucky number with women, maybe. And
Yeah, but Shlomo Melech had 1,000, right?
yeah, but that wasn't. He didn't. Then he learned in the Nach. It wasn't exactly a happy ending.
Right. Lemeimed Rabbi Yehuda dorish time of Krov, Rabbi Shimon lo dorish time of Krov. What? Rabbi Yehuda is not darshaning the reasoning. We've heard just the opposite sheet, the Tanya. Almana ben shi'aniya ben shi'ashira en mashkina noso. A widow, whether she's poor or rich, we don't take a mashkin from her if we loaned her money. The Torah says you shouldn't take collateral. Dear Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shimon Amar Ashira, if she's rich, because we're not going to have to take it. Aniya ain't mashkina also. Poor, no. And if you take, you have to give it back to her at night. And that's the problem. Since if you, let's say you took a pillow, well, she has to sleep with the pillow, so you have to bring the pillow back every night. Well, the neighbors are going to get very suspicious that this man is visiting the almana every night. The reason why we don't take a mashkin from her is because you're chayiv to return the mashkin. Rabbi Yehuda is not following the reasoning of the pasuk. Rabbi Shimon dorish time of Krov, and yet here we learn the opposite by the Melech. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Yehuda lo dorish time of Krov. In general, Rabbi Yehuda does not follow reasoning. Before his time of the Krov, here the Torah said, "Ma tam lo yarbe lo noshim mishum de lo yasir levavo." The Torah itself gave the reason. Rabbi Shimon Amalach, normally we follow reasoning. In Kain Lichtov Kro lo yarbe lo noshim, and he doesn't have to give us the reason. So why did the Torah have to write lo yasir lam? Fil achas, to teach me the halacha that even if she was a tzadekis, but not a tzadekis, even if you marry one wife, but she's the kind of wife who mesira is sleepo, that's going to turn the Melech's heart away from Yiddishkeit. So Elamani Makayv Lo Yar. But if you look at Abigail, you can't have more than 18. Hani Shmona Esrei Minola. Where do you get 18 from? Dichsi. Vayvadula David Banim Bechevron. Vahi Bechoro Amnon Lachinoam HaYisraelis. The first one was Achinoam. Umishneu Kilav Lavigail. Eishes Novel HaKarmeli. Vashlishish Avshalom ben Macha. Haravi Adoniah ben Chagiz. Hachamishi Shvatya ben Avital. Hashishi Yisram LaEgla Eishes David. Ela Yuldul David Bechevron. He had 6 children in Chevron. The Navi says, I'm going to add to your children kahena v'chahena. Kahena shis v'chahena shis. 6, 6, and 6. Tavalei tamne, sorry. 18. Maski for Ravina. Ema kahena tartisari. Maybe the kahena is 12. The kahena esrim v'arba. And in fact, there's a brayso Tana Machi lo yarba lo noshim. Yoiser mesrim v'arba. And Laman Darch Vav Arba Mishmona Avu 48. And Tana Machi lo yarba lo noshim. Yoiser Arba Mishmona. Okay, so we have different shitas. However, Tana Didon might time me. Why did our Tana learn 18? Amrav Kana Mekish Kahena Basra Kahena Kamo. He compared the first Kahena to the last Kahena. Ma Kahena Kamo Shiz, Av Kahena Basra Shiz. Now, the Gemara says, what happened to Michal? Michal isn't mentioned. V'havi Michal. Amrav Egla zu Michal. When it said Egla, le'egla Eshes David, that's Michal. Lama nikra shmo Egla, shechaviva love ke Egla. She was beloved to him like a calf. V'cheinu omer lulei charashtem beglasi. Shimshon also says that they had his favorite wife also they had shepherd with. So Egla refers to your favorite wife. Now, the Gemara is going to question, here it mentioned that Michal had a child, Yisrael. Mi'avel Michal Bani? Who said Michal had children? Vaksiv Michal Bashol lo haylacha Vlad an Yomosa. Because Michal got upset with David HaMelech because he was dancing in front of the Torah, it says she was cursed, she didn't have children. Amrav Chizda. Yeah, ad Yomosa lo hayla, Yomosa hayla. I mean, she died in childbirth. She died on the day of she died. But the Gemara says, what do you mean? Michti bari mecha kachashiv lu bechevron. But these are children mentioned in Chevron. Ve'ilu ma'isa de Michal b'Yushalayim. But when Michal saw David HaMelech dancing, that was when he was bringing the Aron to Yerushalayim. T'chsivu Michal b'Shol, nishkefa barachalim, v'teres HaMelech David, mefazes mecharke l'fnei Hashem, v'tivez, and she was embarrassed. V'amar Rav Yehuda v'Item Rav Yosef shkalta Michal lemitra v'sa. She got her punishment right away, and she didn't have children. So Elaema ad oisam ma'isahayila. So she had children when she was in Chevron. That's not a problem. But now, from the time in Yerushalayim, ikan ve'elech lo hayila. Okay. So the Gemara questions this notion that David only had 18 wives. He took other wives. So the Gemara says that's not a to get up to 18, but not more than 18. My nashim my pilagshim. What's the difference between a wife and a pilegish? A wife, you have to give her kiddushin, you have to give her a ksuba. Pilagshim below ksuba, below kiddushin. Only a melech can have a pilegesh, according to the Rambam. Other poskim hold that a pilegesh has kiddushin without a ksuba.
Yeah, Ernie, question. What was the status of Bilhah and Zilpah?
They were pilegesh. And then it's this machloikes. Does she have, according to one pshat, there's no kiddushin and no ksub at all. according to another pshat, there is kiddushin but no ksuba. Like it's Tanoim, what Yaakov had with Bila and Zilpah, but they were pilagshim.
Yeah, but that's before the Torah. So I mean, it's like a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. Okay.
I understand that it's what happened because we said Avos were Meshoim and all the things, but you can't. The set up laws were not yet in place.
So Amar Rav Amarav, Arba Me'as Yiladim Ha'ilol David. David had 400 children. Kulan b'nei Yifas Tor Hayu. Right? There's a din that if you capture a Gentile woman, you can take her as a wife. And they were all, these children were b'nei Yifas Toyer. Umegadle Bluris Hayu. They grew their hair with curls. Kulan Yoshvim b'kronish Zav. They sat in like wagons of gold. They were like heads of his legions. They were like the strong men of his army. Tomar, right? Bas Yifas Tor Haisa. Adoniyah, one of the sons of David, raped Tamar. And it really wasn't his sister because she was a Bas Yifas Tor before the woman converted. So there was no relationship between David and her, because once you're a Magaya, it's like a Kekotin Shenoy David. Shenebar Vatada Bern ala Melech Kiloim Na'eni Mimecha. Go speak to David. He won't hold. He'll give me to you as a wife. He's like if she was a daughter of a regular marriage, wouldn't be permitted for Amnon to marry her. So that's we have a proof that she was the daughter of Yifas Torah. Ulaman Reya Shmo Yonas ben Shimon. Achi David. Amnon had a friend, Yonadav, the brother of David, via Ish Chacham. Amr Vidam Rav, Ish Chacham LeRosha. He gave him bad advice. Vayomer Maduata Kachadal ben Amelech. He was depressed. Vayomer LeYonadav Shchavel Mishkafcha v'Yischal. Ad v'asla ne'asa biri v'tikacha mishres v'titzok l'fanav. Until this whole mice of the rape occurred. Amr Vidam Rav she'asla l'minei tigun. She fried him some kind of fried dish. But Vayismeh Amnon sinag doyle ma'od. Amnon hated her. My time. Amnon Yitzchak nima nikshurlo. She tied, or in relations, one of her hairs in that area sort of got tied around his organ, and it damaged him. Vaso krushufcha, and it injured his urethra, and he became a krushufcha. He's not allowed to marry a Jewish woman anymore. Now it just happened to happen. What did she do? She actually tied it. Made her a krushuf. The Gemara says Jewish girls didn't have hair. Jewish girls have a name of beauty among the nations. They don't have hair under their armpit. Not in the area of the genitalia. So that's the Jewish girl, Shani Tamar, the Bas Yifas Torah. She was the daughter of Yifas Torah, who was a Gentile. Vatikach Tamar Efer al Rosha. She put ash on her head. She tore her garment. She protected from then on future Jewish girls. Omru. If this can happen to a Jewish princess, look, it could happen to any Jewish girl. And I'm modest. To those women that are libertine, it's certainly going to happen to them. Both are still gozru ala yichud, vala pnuya. At this time, there was a gzeira that you can't be privately in a room with somebody, a prohibited erva. except a mother can have yichud with her son, and a father with the daughter, and a husband with his wife who's a nida. So they made Gzera la yichud and vala pnuya. Up until this time, yichud was only on somebody who was an erva to you. So if she was a married woman, but on a unmarried woman, boy, it's really windy.
Uh-huh.
But if she was a single girl, there was no Isra Yichud. But at this time, because Tamar was single, they made a Gzeira of Yichud on a single girl too. So the Gemara says, D'Oraisu. What do you mean they made a Gzeira? Yichud is a D'Oraisu. Rav Yechdan Mishum Rav Shimon ben Yotzadok remez liyichud v'lator minayin shnemar ki yisidcha achicha ben imecha. Your brother who is the son of his mother. I don't understand. Ben Aim Macy's, Ben Aveno Macy's. What about why does it mention the son of the mother? Ben Misyachid Imimo. To teach you the law that the son can have yichud with his mother. But Einachem Misyachidim Kol Arayis B'Torah. But nobody else can have yichud with any other prohibited relation. So what do you mean they made Elaima Gazra Yichud de Pnuya? The new Gzeira was having yichud with a single girl. Vadoniya ben Chagit, another son of David, Misnasei Lemor Ani Emloch. He tried to make himself king. Amid Rav, Melamed Shabikesh Lahomo. He tried to put the crown on his head. Now, the crown, the base David, they had some kind of unusual skull anatomy. And the crown wouldn't fit unless, it's like King Arthur in the stone.
We learned this in Nach, all this stuff here.
Yeah. So he tried to put it on, didn't fit him. Bayaslo Rechavu Farashim, he made chariots for Chamishimish Ratzim Lefanav. So my revusa, a lot of people have that. Amrav, Kulan Netulei Chol. These people had a surgical removal of their spleen, which made them very fast. They were very fast. Mishnah. Liyar below susim, a king cannot have too many horses. Elakademer kavto. For example, he can't have prize horses like thoroughbreds to just stand there or to race. He can have horses for his chariots. The kesef izov liyar below ma'od. He can't have too much money. Elakadelitain aspanya. He has to pay his army because of lo sefer Torah lishmo. He has to write his own sefer Torah. Yotzil milchama motziim. If he goes to war, he takes the sefer Torah with him. Nichnas umachnis. He goes into the house, he takes it with him. Yoshev badin. If he goes to Bezdin, he imo. Mesav. If he eats, he kenegdo. The Torah is there with him. Shenemar. He has to be with him all the time. Don Rabbanon. Maybe you can't even have for your chariots. Talmud Lamer lo. Lo ain't a marba. V'marbu k'dei richvo farasha. He can't have personal horses, but he can have enough horses for his chariots. So then Hamani Makayim Susim. Susim abatlonim. You can't have many horses that are just standing around. That, just for show. Even if you have one horse that's not doing anything, you're over the love of lo yarbet. Even one sus. A sus that's not doing anything, that's already a lav. Why does another part of the pasuk say multiple horses? Lav or below tasa called sus for sus. You get another lav for each and every horse. Time it because Rahman lo yarbe lo susim. But if you didn't write that, halav hachi havamina, afilu kedei richbo for shav nami lo. I might have thought you can't even have for chariots. Lo tzricha la fushe. It means to have more than that. The kesef is of lo yarbe lo ela kedei liten aspanya. He can't have more money than he needs to pay his army. Ton rabbanon kesef is of lo yarbe lo. Maybe not even enough to pay his army. Lo in a marbe. He cannot have too much money personally. But enough for the army. Time because of low. Without low, we would have thought he couldn't even have money for the army. You're allowed to have extra. You don't have to be so tight that you have exactly to the penny what you need. You're allowed to have a little extra. Lo yarbe lo noshi my drashta be. Oh, lemuta had yardos. So only a king cannot have more than 18 wives. A non-king can have as many wives. He can have 100 wives. He can have 50 as long as he can afford them. So there's no limit for a regular person. Royita Rami. Ksi vayili shlomo arboy melef. Oiroy susim merkavto. He had 40,000 horses for his chariots. He had 44,000 stables. So, if he had 40,000 stables, then each stable had 4,000 horses. If he had 4,000 stables, he had 4,000 stables, he had 40,000 horses in each stable. Rabbi Yitzchak Rami, Ksiv, ein kesef nextra b'mei shlomo l'ma'uma. It was so much money that, money wasn't worth anything. Ksiv ha'itein shlomo sa'kesef b'yishlam kavonim, so that's mashma that it was something. Lo ikasha, kan kodim shenas shlomo is Bas Paro. Before he married Bas Paro, they were very wealthy. Kan lachar shenas shlomo is Bas Paro, it became less valuable. Rabbi Yitzchak B'shar shenas shlomo is Bas Paro, Yorad Gavriel v'notz kana bayam. The Malach Gavriel came, put a stick in the ocean, the Mediterranean, and the Italian peninsula came about because of that, and Rome. And it basically is saying this laid the seeds for the eventual exile by Rome. Rav Yitzchak. Normally, we don't have reasons for our mitzvahs. Here, it said, don't take too many wives because they're going to turn your heart. Or don't have too many horses to go back to Mitzrayim. Two psukim, the Torah revealed the reason. And Nichshel ben Gadol ha'olam. And the wisest man made a mistake. Ksiv lo yarbe lo nashim. Amar Shlomo, ani arbev lo asur. Shlomo said, I will take wives, but I won't have my heart moved. Later it says that Shlomo's wives did cause him to change his heart. I'll have horses, but I won't go back to Mitzrayim. In the end, he went back to Mitzrayim. The Kois of Sefer Torah Lishmo. Tana v'vachlo yizkoa b'shel avoisav. Shlo yisnaya. You shouldn't use Sefer Torah of his forefathers. Even if as a parent left a person Sefer Torah, mitzvah lichtov mishalo. You should write a new one for yourself. Shneamar. He has to write it. You shouldn't benefit from others. Melech in, hedyet lo. What? And a regular person doesn't have the same din? No. Lo tzrich l'shtei Torahs. A melech has to write two Torahs. Kidetanya, because of us Mishnah Torah, because of lishmo, shtei Torahs. He has to write two Torahs. One Torah he goes out to war and back into his house with it. Another he keeps in his treasure house. He makes almost like an amulet. It was a small Sefer Torah. He wore it. Tolab Israel, he wore it on his arm. He doesn't go into the bathhouse with it, not the bathroom. Shenemar v'aisayim over kara makam aroy likrospel. Only in a place that it's permitted to read Torah there. It was written with Old Hebrew script Livorno, and the Hebrew that we understand. But Chazra v'nit Elam Ezra b'ksav Ashuri Lashon Rami. The time of Ezra, Ksav Ashuri, which is our lettering, was written, and it was written Aramaic. Berlin Yisrael Ksav Ashuri v'Lashon HaKodesh. Klal Yisrael prefers writing Ksav Ashuri, and they prefer speaking Hebrew. They left for the regular people the old Hebrew script and Aramaic language. Who are the Hedyotis? My Hedyotis are the Kusoi, the Kusin. My Ksav Ivri, Amrav Chiz the Ksav Libono, the old Hebrew script. Tanya Rabbi Yossi Omer, Roy Ezra Shetinasin Torah Yodel Yisrael. Ezra was great enough that he could have given the Torah too, like Moshe. Ilmali lo kodma Moshe. But Moshe Omer, Moshe Allah El Elohim. But Ezra Omer, who Ezra Allah mi Bavel. Right? Ezra came up from Bavel. Ma Aliyah Amar Kan Torah. The going up refers to receiving Torah. Af Aliyah Amar Lahalan Torah. But Moshe Omer voisit Tziva Hashem Beisahi L'lamed Eschem Chukim u'Mishpatim. By Ezra Omer ki Ezra Heichil Levavo Lidrosh es Torah Hashem Elokav Lasos Ulamed B'Yisrael Chokum Mishpat. Chukim u'Mishpatim, the same language as Moshe. V'aval Bishlonit L'Torah Yodo Nishtani Al Yodo. Even though he didn't give it, but it changed. As we say, it was written in Ksav Ashuri in the time of Ezra.
Otherwise, they give a picture here of Ksav Ashuri.
Yeah, no, Ksav Ashuri is our Ksav. The older Ksav, Ksav Libuna, is the older Hebrew script that you see sometimes on coins, on some of the early Hebrew coins that they find from Bais Rishon.
Yeah, they said two different ones. Once again.
Like in the Ten Commandments.